Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I am Jeremy Birmingham. This is Birminology. Today, we are talking with James Peoples from San Antonio, Texas, the number 10 ranked high school running back in the country, according to Rivals.com, but much higher than that on other people's boards, including Ohio State. And that's why we're talking now to James Peoples. James, thanks for taking time to join us on the show. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
I am also, I never say I'm great because I'm not. I'm just normal. But, I'm doing the best I can. And, James, I've been trying to catch up with you for a while now because I know how much, the relationship with you and Tony Alford has taken off in the last handful of months and where Ohio State is prioritized you in their running back recruiting. Just on the big picture, we'll just back it out all the way there. What does it mean to a kid with family ties to the Cleveland, Ohio area to have Ohio State calling you? Is it surreal?
Well, I'll tell you, to have Ohio State calling you is nothing short of awesome. To have that opportunity that I've been given, and of course have the connections of my family that are in Cleveland and Youngstown. I mean, it's kind of a full circle thing, and the feeling is awesome. I mean, of course, I'm going up there every time I go up to Ohio State. I always go and see my family, so that connection, it definitely is something special. I mean, it's huge for me, definitely huge for me.
How deep is that family connection to Ohio? How many people are still in the Northeast Ohio area, and how often have you been able to get back there?
Well, both my mom and my dad's side of the family are in Ohio, so you could say it's pretty deep over there. My mom's side is primarily in Youngstown, and my dad's side is primarily in Cleveland, Ohio. So, yeah, it definitely runs deep.
So how did you get to Texas?
How did I get to Texas? Okay, so, um, my parents are military, and my father, he was stationed in Ramstein Air Force Base, which is a place all the way over in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And I was born there. So I was born on Ramstein, stayed there for a couple of years. Then I moved to San Antonio, Texas in 2009. So I'd say I've been here I'm doing a rough estimate, I'm sorry, I think about 14, 15 years. So yeah,
So
14 years I've been in Texas, but I was born in Germany. So yeah.
is your father always on the field when they have the All-American game in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome? I mean, have you grown up going to that game?
I did grow up to going to that game. I have a few of my friends that also played in that game, but I don't know. Honestly, the times that I've gone to the All American Bowl down here in San Antonio, it's just been me and my boys. So my parents, they don't really go to that. I mean, the last one I think we all went to was around, say, about 2018. So it's been a minute.
Well, I think that's when they stopped doing the Army sponsoring it, so it probably lost a little bit of the luster for your family. But for you, James, I mean, recruiting has been consistent. You have offers from a lot of schools. I think we have listed more than 30, almost 30 schools, and not just Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, et cetera. I mean, that you have gained a list of the who's who of college football. What has surprised you about this process? What have you really learned about yourself in as this has unfolded?
Hmm. I say what has surprised me about this process. I mean, of course, when this process started, I never expected it for me to be here. I'd say for me, but honestly, the surprising factor, I always knew I had that athleticism and that side to me. I always knew that I could compete with the best of them, and I should be, and rightfully so, am where I am at today because of the work and the hard and the effort I've been putting in since day one. So, I mean, this process it has been not only proof to me, but also proof to also the people that are seeing like where I'm at today, like that I've been doing this, and that it's definitely something I don't take lightly. It's definitely a blessing. I give God glory for where I'm at today, and because this is, I mean, of course, you saying like where I'm at in my rankings and everything, it is truly something special. So I'm just grateful, thankful, and keep working. So
Let's go back to the real start of the relationship with Tony Alford. I think you visited last June and camped with the Buckeyes, correct?
I did, yes, sir.
That was probably, that's one of those moments where you go there to try to make a connection with the coach, maybe earn an offer, impress some people. What do you remember about that day and the coaching style of Tony Alford? Why did that resonate with you the way it did?
Why did that resonate with me? From the moment I got there, me and Coach Alfred, we started hitting it off. We started talking, having some pretty deep conversations. And what stood out is I remember when I went up to Ohio State, we went to the film room, And the film room is something that is definitely a delicacy when you get to that level. It's taken very heavily, and it's applied to everything you do. And we went to the film room and we went over just a few plays, and he was just trying to see where my football knowledge was, as well as the other backs that were in the room, to see what we saw, And I think that was something that was really special to me because he really was trying to help develop our mental part of the game. The things that you see, not just the physical, but the mental. That's one thing that really stood out to me. But of course, his coaching style, when we were on the field, doing drills and stuff like that, I mean, the way he explains it to you, walks it through to you, what he's looking for in drills, not just his speed, but also like maybe pace, little things. I say he's very what's it called, direct in that aspect, and he's a great running back coach, as well as the personable part of him as well.
Yeah, I mean, the relationship, I've seen it described with you and Tony Alford as, one of your best relationships, and unique in a lot of ways. What is it about him since then that has made you feel at home or comfortable talking with him? And really, what has he done, I guess, to earn your family's trust?
Okay. Our relationship is deep because of it's a lot of things. I mean, the conversations we have, of course, not just about football, but about personal things, him checking up on me checking on him, and just getting used to the staff. I've talked to like a wide range of staff members at Ohio State and had conversations with them, and just to be able to understand and be able to talk to them more. I've got a sense of maybe like a home feeling. It feels really homey, really genuine, the love that I get from the coaching staff as well as Coach Alford, speaking not only about football, but when we talk about football, I mean, it's really in depth. He understands every part of the game and how, of course, I play into his role at Ohio State. It's really just in depth, I'd say, and our relationship, how deep it spans with him checking in. He'll maybe ask like how my family's doing, talk with my grandparents and stuff. It's really just been special with how I'd say it's a full circle relationship. I say, not just surface.
There is always going to be an element, no matter how good a relationship is, this is still a business and this is still about football, right? When it comes down to it, there are a million little things that impact your decision whenever you end up making one between Ohio State and Oklahoma and all the schools that you're really considering. Mm-hmm. On Tuesday night of this week, there was one of those big dominoes that sort of fell, and Ohio State has had a very select group of running backs that they've been recruiting. One of them, Jordan Marshall from in-state Cincinnati Moeller High School, committed to Michigan. And Jordan was supposed to be on campus with you the same day that you're visiting next weekend, April 1st. Now he almost certainly will not be because he's committed to Michigan. So is there a part of you, because I know you're not scared of competition, you're not, top 10 players in the country aren't ever worried about that, but there is still a sense of, hey, you know what? This is probably cool for me because now I get more time to spend with the coach. I don't have to split up my attention. Like, how does that feel to, like, how much balance do you have to give to like those thoughts, those competing thoughts? Like, hey, I don't care who's there, but also I'm glad he's not.
Okay. Well, honestly, yes, I did see the news, and I'd say the competition factor, it does speak something, because now that he's at the team up north, it does open up kind of you could say the doors for me being that lone back, the one that maybe Ohio State is going after. I mean, it's something I'm looking at, that I have looked at and have had conversations with as well with the coaching staff. Me getting up March 30th, it doesn't change much though. I mean, the more time for me with Coach Alford, and the rest of the coaching staff, getting up there, really just getting that feel for the area of Columbus and, the Ohio State. That was a little bit of a hard question to answer, but it is something that does shift this a bit. And it I do see it as beneficial in my regard. So I do see it as a benefit as me being that back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it doesn't change anything in the big picture. You still have to make a decision for your own personal reasons. But when you're there and you're expecting to be there initially with another player who is on, considered on the same level as you, I think it's natural to expect attention to be diverted or, shared. And now, like you're talking about being at camp last year and you're in a room with 5 or 6 other running backs.
Right.
now you're just in that room by yourself, and that certainly changes the scope of the conversation. Knowing that heading into this visit next weekend, it's Student Appreciation Day on campus. There's going to be a live scrimmage. There's going to be hundreds of students on the indoor facility at Ohio State watching the scrimmage, pointing at you, asking for pictures with you. Like, it's a weird vibe. It's kind of cool to see it all unfold. But you've been to campus for camp. What do you want to get out of this next visit? What are you looking for to answer whatever remaining questions you have about Ohio State?
I say when I come up on March 30th, the things that I am looking for, it's the people. The people really make the place. And when I get up to Columbus, of course, the love, the feeling that I'm going to get when I get there, that's going to play a huge factor in whether that is going to be the spot for me. Not just the people, but the environment, just the whole city, just to say that. You can know when you step foot in the area. I know for me, at least, I can tell where, if this place is special, if I can see myself here. And what I'm looking for when I go up there is, I'll know when I go there, is this the spot? And kind of just like, as I conversate with people, as I feel the love, have those conversations with Coach Alford and the rest of the coaching staff, speak with Coach Day, sit down, just get that whole feeling, just really being there for those couple of days, seeing the team, seeing Travion Henderson and all of them guys get after it. It's gonna be a special feeling. So I'm really just looking forward to it, and it's going to be an exciting time. I just can't wait. Honestly, I really can't wait.
The reality of the recruiting business has changed so much in the last few years. NIL, transfer portal, all this stuff. How hard is it for you to just separate all that junk and focus on relationships and best fit? I mean, is it, you have people pulling you 1,000 different directions, people who you don't know, probably reaching out in your DMs and saying, hey, let's do this with us and we're going to help you here. Like, has this process been more complicated than you imagined it would be now that you've really started to see it take off?
It has been a little bit more complicated, but the things that I value most were never really those things. Now, of course, college football has taken a shift. It's, of course, NIL, transfer portals, and stuff like that, which I am looking at. But the main things that I'm looking at, I mean, those things haven't changed. And up front, I was expecting, like, of course, these things. Now, it did come with some other things that kind of did take me for a spin, but I've been managing and I've been doing the things I've been consistently doing, just keeping that same routine, looking at the same stuff, all my checklists, until leading where I'm going to go with this whole process. So, yes, sir.
I won't ask you to read off the whole checklist because I'm sure it's multi-pronged and there's a lot of different things on it. Mm-hmm. What's number one and number two on that checklist of this? For the school to be the school, it has to have X and Y. What are the two things that you would say are the most important for you?
Okay. The two things that I had that are most important on my list is, first, the area. So, like, the area, the people, the facility. Is it a place where I can grow? And then on top of that is support system. When I go to a college, I'm really looking for that support system, not just with football, but everything has to be well-rounded. Like, support system with, of course, classes, personal life, financial support system, all this stuff that are put in place to help me be the most successful person I can be in every area of my life. So when I go up to any university, those are the two biggest things on my list. And then ultimately, the feeling that I'm going to get when I get there is really, I'll know. So,
God forbid football doesn't work out. What is the life you want? What do you want to study? What do you want to be in life after the game is done? Whether it's 5 years from now or 15, 20 years from now.
I'd say the things that I want to do, if football doesn't forbid, Lord forbid that I do, like, that ends for me, I'd say I'll be going into business. So I'm already taking at my high school, I'm in business courses. I'm already set on that career path to for like business and media and all those type of things, video and media, of course. So I already have a plan in place that when I go to college, what I'll be taking my courses, what they're going to be surrounded around.
As you project out this process, everyone has a mindset of I'm going to do A, B, and C. I'm going to take visit here. I'm going to take visit here. I'm going to schedule official visits. I'm going to make official visits. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a decision here. And then sometimes, as we saw with Jordan Marshall this week, I mean, he just 10 days ago said he was making his commitment in July, and then he committed now, right? So things change rapidly, especially when you find the place that's right for you. Is there any part of your process where you say to yourself, I'm just going to let it ride? Or do you start to circle a date and say, I'm absolutely getting to this point before I make a decision?
No, I don't have a set time that I will be pressing the button and committing. I'd say it's really just going to be with I'll know when it's time, and
Yeah.
I'll bring that to my family, of course. And when I feel like I've seen what I need to see, and I've been there enough times, and I've come to the conclusion and the feeling in my heart and my mind, and I'm like, all right, I know this is the place. I can go to sleep knowing that I made the right decision. I don't want second guesses. Wherever I commit to, I don't want to decommit from. I want to stay with that college wherever I go to and just be locked in all 4 years or 3 years. So whenever I make that decision, I'm going to be set in my heart, be content with it, and stick with it. So no set time, but preferably I do want to, before my senior season, possibly be able to commit.
The last Texas running back to pick Ohio State was J.K. Dobbins. He did that in the class of 2017. He committed in February of 2016 without ever stepping foot on campus at Ohio State. He never visited. He didn't actually visit until 10 months after his commitment. Obviously, his career turned out okay. You watch a player like that. Do you have a player that you've watched growing up that you're like, hey, I kind of see myself in that dude, that I like his style of play? Who do you, if people flip on the tape and watch your highlights, what influences will they see?
Well, running back I watched a lot, honestly, was Saquon Barkley. I love that dude's looseness and his speed. I've really kind of modeled my game a little bit after him. But also, as I was growing up, I also did watch Ezekiel Elliott. He was a big back that I watched, of course, not just like in the NFL, but even those days before he was at Ohio State. So those two backs were my two biggest backs that I watched.
Those were two pretty good backs. Maybe the two best Big Ten running backs I've seen in my life. So not a bad pair. Let's ask one more thing here, and we'll get you on the way. I told you I'd try to make it under 20 minutes tonight. But with this visit coming up to Ohio State, is there one place on campus that you've been like looking at and you've been researching on the internet, and man, I got to go there, I want to check this out? Or any place that you've talked to players or recruits and they say, hey, make sure you do this when you spend time at Ohio State?
I say there has not been one place that I want to go to, but I want to see it all. So there's not one place I want to go to. But I do want to step foot on that field, the game field. I got to step foot in the shoe. That place. Hughes Stadium, that's a place I want to step foot in. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique place. I imagine that you'll spend plenty of time there, getting a chance to check out all the facilities, all of the campus haunts, all the academics, all that kind of stuff. Who's all making that trip with you?
So the people that are making that trip with me, of course, my mom and my dad. I have my grandfather coming up. Both of my grandparents, from my mom's side, my dad's side. I have my little cousin Caleb. He'll be making that trip with me, and then my family friend, Mr. McKenzie. So those are the people that will be on tour with me.
And then will you get up to Northeast Ohio and see family up there too, or is everybody just converging in Columbus?
I think I am making that trip. I think I will be going to Cleveland and Youngstown, kind of stopping by, seeing some family, of course. Because of course, Ohio, I'm all the way down here in Texas, so making that fly whenever I can see family, I gotta go see family.
So, if all the families from the Northeast Ohio, are they Browns fans, or are you a grown up as a Cowboys fan because you're there? I mean, who are you rooting for in the NFL?
I don't got nobody in the NFL I'm rooting for, sir.
Good.
Honestly,
All right. Well,
I
that's
watch
fine.
college football. College football is where I'm at.
College football is the best brand of football, without question. Is
I,
it crazy to you that you're going to get to play college football and like a year from now you're going to be playing college football? Has it hit you yet how crazy this is?
yeah, that hit me. That definitely hit me because I'm watching these guys on TV. That's gonna be me in literally a few months because I'm early grad, and whenever I do go, I'll be right in the mix. Right in the mix. So that's definitely crazy to me.
Okay, for real, last question, because you said right in the mix, and now I'm thinking about it. Ohio State obviously did not sign the running back in the class of 2023. They are expected to lose Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson at least after this upcoming season.
Hmm.
You would expect then with Dallin Hayden, it will be in his third year as when you would be a freshman. So potentially he'd only be there 1 year. How important is depth chart stuff for a guy like you? And do you think about it in the role of like splitting carries in college isn't a bad thing because I get to stay fresh? Or is it I want the rock all the time and I just want to give me 25, 30 carries a game?
That depth chart is extremely serious for any position, and I've been looking at it definitely, and I've already evaluated and seen everyone. Yeah, they'll be gone. Dallin Hayden will be a junior by the time if I do go to Ohio State my freshman year. So having a year to learn under him and the backs that will be there before, of course, maybe I do become the bell cow or whatever the case may be. That's huge for me. And also, we talked about what did we talk about? Splitting carries. You talk about splitting carries. As a running back and my body taking punishment, the splitting carries is only pretty much beneficial, especially when we talk about longevity of running backs. Talk about backs in the league, how long they stay in the league, value, all that stuff. Splitting carries only can really better you in that aspect when we're talking about either taking the brunt force of all the carries or being able to possibly split the load with two backs. So two back system isn't a bad idea, but of course being that guy ain't no problem with it. There's benefits and downsides to both, really. So
Yeah, I mean, at high school, you've rushed for 2,200 yards or something as a junior and 33 touchdowns, but you're averaging 10 yards a carry. You're not getting hit a lot. You're able to outrun dudes. College football is slightly different, which you'll figure that out in about 8 months from now. So, but you got a lot of stuff to figure out before then, including where you want to be playing college football at. So, I really do appreciate you, James, taking time and getting to know me a little bit, letting Ohio State fans get a chance to get acclimated with who you are ahead of next weekend's trip. So really do appreciate your time, man.
yes, sir. Thank you.
No problem. That is James Peoples. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology on the podcast. Thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you next time.